Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 49. Are we on 49? 49 of Paperwork Podcast with your boys, Rest Pass, Peach, and Walt. Episode 1, Peachy's not here.
Shock.
Yeah, shock right now. The second thing I want to say is, and this is me, I just bought a new microphone, and I've been testing it out. And so my recording volumes are going to probably be all over the place today. So I'm going to apologize for that up front. I'm trying to figure it out. What the hell? It changed again. Oh, man. This is going to be a fun episode, Rest Pass. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. I'm so excited for this wonderful, wonderful topic we have for today.
Yes. So before we get into the topic, I wanted to touch on Raw last night. So we're recording this Tuesday morning.
In case you aren't already thrown off for any of you listening week to week.
Yeah, because this is
a random Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Tuesday.
Yeah, we're recording Tuesday morning. This is probably going to end up getting released on Thursday.
Yeah.
So hopefully before. But holy shit, the angles they did on Raw. So first off, Roman Reigns came back. He's in remission, and he actually participated in Raw last night, which was he didn't do much. So you didn't see it, right?
No, I just read it. That's all.
I fell asleep I saw his whole opening, and it was perfect. Like, the crowd acted appropriately.
Right.
I would have liked him to get booed a little bit, just kind of in the same way that Kurt Angle gets "you suck," just to make him feel at home.
Right.
But then he came out and they helped Ambrose, him and Rollins. And he basically, Reigns just Superman punched, I think, McIntyre, Elias, Bobby Lashley. I think there might have been someone else there, but I forget. But he looks good from it, but he looks significantly smaller.
Yeah.
He definitely looks like he was battling with something. But it's awesome, like, that he's back. Like, hopefully he I hope we get a WrestleMania match.
Yeah, I'm that 6-man tag that it looks like they're kind of leading towards for WrestleMania in some way, shape, or form between all these different guys: Corbin, Lashley, Elias, McIntyre, Braun Strowman.
Yeah,
and now it looks like a possibility that you got Ambrose and Reigns thrown in there, which is what they would probably need to do. Reigns is not going to have a one-on-one match
I don't think
at WrestleMania, but yeah, best case scenario, you put him in some type of 6-man tag, and you kind of let him finish the match, do what he does, and send everybody home happy.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Well, the rumor apparently is that Bruce Pritchard
I saw
is
that.
Now
he's
like
back.
the head of creative.
I didn't see the head, but I saw that he was back.
The rumor is he's Vince's right-hand man now.
Oh.
Like, they brought him in at a very top role. So that one of the biggest things I've read over places was that he had significant say in what happened last night, and that's why the show felt different.
So it was so good. It was a really good show. So not only that, you then had I can't think of it.
Batista.
The Ric Flair birthday celebration with Batista looking like a fucking animal. Like the way they presented them going back to Ric Flair's locker room, you see Batista walk out, grab a cameraman, and drag him to the locker room, and then Batista dragging Ric Flair out of there and saying, "Do I have your attention now, Hunter?" Like, bro, so I didn't think there was going to be a Triple H match at all, just because when he tore his pec or whatever, I was like, all right, he's possibly not going to be healed in time. And I wanted to see a Batista Triple H match, but holy shit, they set that up perfectly.
The funny thing is they kind of, to use a boxing term, rope-a-doped you, because I'd say weeks ago, and up until probably yesterday, before it even happened, you heard Ric Flair birthday celebration.
Yep.
You have Becky Lynch, who was suspended away from the show, and Charlotte Flair, who was put in. And all I've seen was, this is going to get Becky Lynch over. She's going to come and attack Ric Flair, Vince is going to get pissed and finally add her to the thing. Like, that was the rumors, was somehow Becky was going to ruin this celebration. And then she comes out earlier in the night with Rousey and gets arrested and everything, the whole Stone Cold vibe that they're continuing to go for with her.
Which is fine. Which is perfectly fine.
I know, it's perfect. That's what, ever since that video of her bleeding after Nia Jax broke her nose, it's the direction they should have went, was the Stone Cold vibe, and that's what they're doing. That's great. But after that happened, you're like, wait, I thought that was the whole point of this Ric Flair celebration. Again, I didn't see it. I was reading it after it happened. I'm usually sleeping during Raw. Me working overnight, it's wonderful.
I usually sleep during Raw just because of the quality of it.
But usually I'll try to rewatch it somewhere, and I just didn't get the time to last night. But I was even looking at it. I was like, are they gonna have Becky come back out? Like, say she broke out of the handcuffs or something? I was confused. So when I seen Batista, I was like, oh shit! Like, your mind did not go towards Batista. No. Because of the whole Becky Lynch thing. I didn't know he was there. If they're going to do something, it's got to be involved with Becky. It just makes sense for it to be involved with Becky. If they're going to do any type of run-in angle, they just have to. So it's something that was so strongly rumored months ago, that looked like it was the only thing that was definite about WrestleMania. Was Batista Triple H. Yeah. Everybody knew Batista wanted to come back. They wanted him back, and that was going to be the match. And then after that, the SmackDown? Yeah, with the 1000th episode or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, with the Return of Evolution on SmackDown, which they never really performed on anyway. But that's beside the point.
And when Batista, said what he had to say and everything, and it was like, oh, okay, this is definitely happening. And then, like you said, Triple H tore his pec, right?
Yeah. But
at
now,
that match, so.
I'm looking at this too from this is very reminiscent of The Rock, and this is actually going to kind of tie into what we were going to talk about today. Is so our topic really is who do we think, which actors should play what wrestlers in movies of these wrestlers?
Yeah,
so it's basically going off of the announcement
it's
of
the two things. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth.
Hemsworth with
is going to be Hogan, and the biopic they're doing of him, and then also Paige's movie finally released on Friday, Fighting with My Family. So it kind of fit in well.
But to talk about the actors thing, this is very reminiscent of when The Rock came back the second time. So, for WrestleMania 29. Like, he was there, but then he really wasn't there in the build-up for the match. And in my head, I see Batista's back. I'm like, he has Infinity War that comes out in April. Like, I want to say it's like April 28th or something like that is when Infinity War comes out. I'm like, WrestleMania is April 7th or something like that. I'm like, is he going to be on the Raws? Like, is he going to be able to build up for this WrestleMania match with publicity that he probably has to do for Infinity War? Or, I'm sorry, Endgame. My apologies. Endgame.
Yeah.
But obviously, and the thing is, I don't know. Like, it's
one of those things though. Like,
I'm like, this is exciting.
With Endgame, it's not. Batista's not at the forefront of it.
Spoilers.
I know. What?
Infinity War spoilers. If people haven't seen it yet, technically.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's like 30 actors. Is what I'm saying. I know they want everybody together and stuff like that, but it's not.
Well, technically, he's not in the movie. If you've seen Infinity War, he's not going to be there.
Technically, but it's not Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's not needed at everything, and there's going to be taped stuff and everything. I know the way that WWE treats these things, and Batista's an established star. Triple H is an established star. They don't really need to do much to build it.
No.
And you already have the backstory built in, and that's what makes it easy. That's why you don't have Batista coming out and wrestling Drew McIntyre, because you need a backstory. The backstory's built in.
And Batista took out Flair. Like, there's the Evolution connection. Like,
yeah,
it was so good. It was if Bruce. Oh my God, I can't talk. If Bruce Pritchard is really running Raw and like doing creative now, great first show. Like you had the build up, you had the right build up with Roman Reigns. Like that was a great way to kick off like a very positive message. You tied Reigns in a little bit into the show, not having him take any bumps. When I turned it on a couple minutes late, it looked a little uncomfortable just because of how small he looks now compared to what he used to be. Right. But he was he was happy, like he looked good. But that's neither here or there, like with that type of thing. But then the run in with Ambrose, yeah, I don't know. I think they did well. But so let's jump into.
I know we want to move on real quick. I want to ask you one question. Do you think there's a chance that Triple H and Batista turns into a triple threat with Orton? Way to get Orton on the card.
It would be a really good way to get Orton on the card because right now, like, I don't know what he has going on.
Yeah, other than a multi-man match for a mid-card title.
I don't know.
I was just thinking that if Triple H is still a little banged up.
Did we ever get an Evolution triple threat?
I don't know that we have.
Does Flair come out of retirement again? Do we make it a 4-way?
He's the special guest referee for that match.
Yeah, you know what? I might buy a ticket to WrestleMania now. Side note, and this was something we can discuss off air, but we need to talk what we want to do WrestleMania weekend.
Okay.
Because I'm interested in possibly going up for the NXT and G1 Super Show.
Okay, well, we'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk offline. If anybody's listening and any of you guys are interested, we'll keep you informed.
Yeah. But yeah, since you want to head on to the topic, I will start off at the very beginning because I'm just going to go full force into this. All right.
All righty.
We know the concept we're doing. All right. I will start off.
So let's explain the concept real fast to the audience. We basically said name actors who would play wrestlers in these wrestlers biopic movies or something like that, or in any type of movie. Like Hemsworth is playing Hulk Hogan, which I don't think so, but sure.
I'm actually. It's funny. There is 17 Hemsworths, only 2 of them that are worth anything, and I completely got them confused when I read it. I always get them confused for some reason.
Did you think it was Liam?
I always think Liam is Thor.
Oh no!
For some reason, I always do. So I was like, "Oh man, Chris is too small." And then when I realized it was Thor, I was like, "Okay, well." He looks believable as Thor. He looks a little built up. You're not going to find somebody 6'7" to play Hogan. I think he's 6'3". They can do it correctly as long as they have the right sizes around them.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
They'll
movie
be
that
able
Tom
to...
Cruise is in, he doesn't look 5'6" like he really is. So, they'll be able to figure it out. I don't think it's as bad as the reaction that came out about it.
Well, my biggest issue with the whole Hogan thing is apparently they're not touching on any of the Gawker, TMZ.
Why would they?
I have my whole Hogan thing has gone very downhill after how he presented all of that, and like that's what I was a little hesitant to even talk on this subject because I don't like talking about Hogan that much.
Well, I was hoping that it was going to be a backstory of the filming of Thunder in Paradise.
I would watch that.
So I've been showing people at work what Thunder in Paradise is. You know, we watched it the other night.
In prep for the movie.
It blew their mind. Not in a good way. Actually, the one guy, Billy, who sleeps half the time, that was the longest I've ever seen him awake. He was asking questions. He asked me if it was the Great Khali when it was the Giant Gonzalez. And I say the Great
Close
Khali
enough.
was probably...
You know what? That's
the Great
acceptable.
Khali was probably 12 at the time of this recording of this the Thunder in Paradise. But, yeah, hey, at least he got a wrestler's name right.
So who's your first one?
Well, I'm going to go super obvious. A lot of mine are kind of out there. I have to explain why this one I think is the most obvious of them all. And I'll start with Roman Reigns, since we're on him.
Is he going to be The Rock?
No.
Oh.
Jason Momoa.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I think Jason Momoa, that it goes without saying. I don't know that I really need to explain it that much why
so
he would be.
For those that aren't aware, Jason Momoa, he is Aquaman. He is Khal Drogo. Is that his name in Game of Thrones?
I don't think it's Khal Drogo, but
okay.
Go with that.
I'm only like up to episode 6 ever. Of
I was
Game
gonna
of Thrones.
say that's I just remembered you don't really
which is again, most people are very surprised by that, considering everything else that I'm into. No, but so I was gonna say The Rock, just like
I was trying to stick away from that.
But it kind of works. Like, he has obviously the build. He would just need the hair. Momoa has the hair already, so that would work.
Yeah.
I like it. I think he seems to have the personality that would work pretty well with Roman Reigns. That it would be kind of natural for him to play as Reigns, just because you get like a serious Reigns. But then it seems like you do get that like joking personality one.
Yeah.
Like when Reigns can actually be himself.
And
that's where Momoa, I think, would be good.
The one thing I tried to pick too, and it's no offense to other guys, but I tried to pick people that would be interesting to have a movie about.
Yeah.
And obviously with all that's going on with Roman Reigns now, I mean it just if he comes back, it sets itself up for a movie.
Oh, they should be having one relatively soon.
Yeah. So.
I had one that was interesting. So I picked John Cena.
Okay.
Did you do a Cena?
Yes, I have seen it.
Who's your Cena? Because I have one that is.
I mean, I had one that was a little offbeat. I had the other one that's always been compared to him.
Who?
And it was Mark Wahlberg. That one's always been kind of compared to each other.
That. Okay.
It's Marky Mark,
yeah.
John Cena the rapper, all that other
stuff.
But actually who I had, and I tried to go as much looks for most people as I could, I went Matt Damon.
Okay. I got nervous we were going to pick the same person. I went, before we go into that, I went Rob Riggle. Like, he's Cena doesn't have a military background, but Rob Riggle has like that military background, so he has the short crop shaved head. I'm also going in this pre-Cena with hair, because I don't know the fuck he's doing with the hair.
Right.
But I was like, Rob Riggle was the first one to come in. For those that don't know, Rob Riggle's a comedian. He's been in like Talladega Nights. He's like in a lot of the Will Ferrell movies. I'm trying to think of what.
Yeah, say Rob. He's in
Step Brothers.
His brother's like co-worker.
Yeah, in Step Brothers, he's the guy that yells "pow, pow, pow, pow."
Yeah, from Fox. He does the Fox.
Yes.
The NFL on Fox.
Yes.
Comedy.
That was my pick. So obviously you went a little big star, but what do you think of Rob Riggle? I was very happy when I thought of it.
No, I think it's good. You definitely went in a different direction. If your picks reflect that, you went in a different direction than I did, which is awesome because I was hoping we wouldn't pick the same people. No, I can see it. I can see it.
He's got, like, the comedy chops works well with Cena's like the don't give a fuck Cena attitude that he currently has. I think he has the general look of what Cena is. He's not his big upper body, I don't think, but again, right. I guess it's that military haircut that kind of got me thinking.
Yeah.
But I think that was who my pick. So why Matt Damon?
Well, the one thing I've always thought about Matt Damon is, you know how like Cena he's like a little stiff, right, when he moves. Matt Damon, I feel like in every movie he's in, he's like really like their movements almost remind me of each other a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt Damon, like you said, he's been in comedy stuff. He's been, he's born, so he's been a badass. And I think they both kind of, I don't know, he kind of has that like nerdy, like rich white boy look to him that Cena does a little bit. I was going a little bit for looks for most of them. So not to say that I think they look exactly alike, but I think Matt Damon looks a little bit more like him than Rob Riggle does as far as looks goes. But yeah, Rob Riggle would have more of the humor side of it than Matt Damon would. I would think Matt Damon's more of like the badass part of Cena. But
I'm like Googling now just this. I don't know, man. I think I could see Matt Damon. I think seems to have a longer face, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. I did notice that. Like I said, I tried to compare him as much as I could. I actually thought Matt Damon looked better than Mark Wahlberg, which I had looked up a lot of stuff because I didn't want it to be common things. So I looked up who other people were saying, their lookalikes. And Mark Wahlberg gets a lot for John Cena. And
Mark Wahlberg could play the long-haired John Cena.
But that's what, I think you would have to, CGI his face. And his body type, I guess that fits with Cena, right? The fact that he used to be a rapper and he's white fits Cena, but I don't think that they look alike.
Nah. Yeah, that's what Rob Riggle and Matt Damon, I think, are good.
Nah.
Good. Yeah, I think Rob Riggle, I think, is more possible, if they ever do make a Cena movie.
Oh, yeah,
Just because I don't know.
You're gonna. You think Matt Damon is out of the realm of possibility? Just wait till you hear some of my others.
Oh God. So I was just looking at pictures and because I'm doing Google searches of the names and there's one that just came up and I don't know why. This picture of Leonardo DiCaprio,
right?
Aiden English.
I have Leo DiCaprio for
one
of my
really?
guys. Yes, I do.
The way he looks, and I actually even thinking about the Aiden English character. I'm more thinking vaudevillains. Leo might actually work in, but if they make a movie about Aiden English's life and Leonardo DiCaprio's in it, well, guess what? Apparently Aiden English is pretty big because he is a Guerrero. He's married to, I think, one of either Eddie's daughter or someone in the...
Ah, really?
I think Shauna Guerrero, maybe. Let me...
Oh, she was the wrestler, right? Wasn't she with WWE for a little bit?
Yeah.
I forget what... I think she used a different name now, right?
No, I think she used Shauna Guerrero.
I don't know.
Or no, is he just from the Guerrero family? Oh yeah, no, he's the personal life.
Okay, well, while you're taking a while to look for this, I will tell you who I had Leo matched up with. Now, I cheated for two of them, and John Cena was one. This next guy was another. I got two of them. I have one that was more out there, which I thought Matt Damon was a little bit more out there than Wahlberg because a lot of people associate Wahlberg and Cena together. I had Leo for CM Punk.
I could.
Now,
I
was talking
thinking...
Wolf on Wall Street Leo, hair slicked back. I
can't think of. So I was trying to find CM Punk, and I have the guy's picture, and I can't think of his name.
I had Jake Gyllenhaal as a little bit more of a look-alike. I don't think Leo looks like CM Punk. I think Jake Gyllenhaal could pull off that look, and he probably could play CM Punk better. I think Jake Gyllenhaal could.
I think Leo could.
But now I think Leo could play the part spot on, and not that he would ever play in a CM Punk WWE Studios movie or whatever the fuck.
He might.
But that's what I said. You said Matt Damon would never do it, and I'm like, I have Leo DiCaprio on here. I have at least two other names that would never do it.
I can't think of his name, or I couldn't think of the actor's name. I know he has Adrian Brody. That's who I was thinking of for CM Punk. I think.
Okay.
I want to look him up because I couldn't.
Right. But it's like you said. I think it's funny. I guess when I associate CM Punk, and maybe it's the wrestling smart fanboy in me that loves CM Punk like everybody else does. I just think I usually love Leo.
The best in the world deserves the best in the world.
I think Leo, he's such a diverse actor Dude, I could see him playing that. Again, I'm picturing Wolf on Wall Street. I'm picturing that Leo, like, being the CM Punk, which is funny because Wolf on Wall Street, he's all drugged up and everything, and CM Punk's anti everything. But I could just picture Leo sitting there with his legs crossed and a microphone doing that pipe bomb. Like, that's what, when I can just see him doing it. And doing it excellent, like almost spot on. So that's why I went with that.
So now that I look at Adrian Brody, I'm taking that back, just because like I think he always had like long slick back hair, and that's what like the one look for Punk. And I was just like, oh, maybe I think that's him, but I couldn't think of his name until just now. I'll take that back. So I'm gonna just forfeit that one.
Did you have CM Punk on yours at all?
Adrian Brody.
Oh, okay. You definitely you had it. Like, all right.
That's who I was thinking of, but I couldn't think of their name, so I was gonna just bring about it and try to talk it out on here with you.
Right. Gotcha.
But I also did. So I was trying to do a bunch of research, so I didn't do as much research into actors playing.
Before we go off that, the reason why Jake Gyllenhaal too, not only do I think he looks like him a little bit, have you ever seen Southpaw?
I have not.
He's a boxer.
Okay.
He kind of has he has the shaved head and everything. I think he
could pull that off.
Yeah, I think he could pull that CM Punk off.
Legitimately,
and his beard kind of comes in a little bit like Punk's does. When I've seen him with a beard.
Legitimately, I thought about Jake Gyllenhaal too. That was another one when I was like Adrian Brody and Jake Gyllenhaal. I was kind of putting the two together, but I was so stuck on Adrian Brody just because of the hair. But now that I figured out who he was and looked at him, I'm like, maybe I'm not.
Yeah, you have no idea how many times I had people stuck in my head, and then when I looked them up picture to picture to the person, I said, yeah, no, I don't know why I was thinking they resemble him.
So
but not at all.
I was trying to also look up just actors who played wrestlers. So I was looking at like Mickey Rourke's the wrestler.
Right.
That's essentially Jake the Snake Roberts. Like I think it's kind
of the character from the movie was loosely based off Jake
the Snake Roberts, and he looked perfectly as I think Jake the Snake. But I was trying to go through I was trying to see like Jerry the King Lawler doesn't look like he was represented in Andy Kaufman's movie Man on the Moon. So I didn't see anybody there. I couldn't find people that played other wrestlers. The only spot where I saw like wrestlers was you've seen it before. What's his name's the Wrestling Isn't Wrestling thing. With like I forget what the hell his name is. Have you ever seen the Wrestling Isn't Wrestling video? It's like a half-hour YouTube video.
A long time ago.
Mark Landis, I think is Max Landis. I forget what the hell, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
That's like the closest I've seen to other wrestlers. But are there any other movies where wrestlers are portrayed by actors? And I'm removing the Paige movie from that. Like that's what I couldn't find a whole lot. Because all my YouTube searches also turned into like just the way I was wording them, or not YouTube, Google searches was wrestlers that acted.
Right.
And
I tried to avoid wrestling. Obviously I have seen it in there, but that's because I thought of like 6 different people and then limited it down to 2. But yeah, I tried to avoid any wrestlers that have acted because obviously they'd play themselves. Obviously, Cena would play himself. You would assume if they ever did a movie on him, why the hell wouldn't he?
No, I would rather have someone else. I would rather have someone else and then have Cena as like a cameo.
Nah. But yeah, he'd play his dad when he's a kid or something.
Yeah. Or like trip him and cause him to like turn his heel or something like that. Oh man, we're so smarky.
You are.
I know. So who else do you have? Because I think your list is definitely probably more of a talking point. Did you get? Are yours all current wrestlers, or did you get some legends in there?
I have 6 more on my list, and actually there is only one full-time active wrestler on there.
Let's talk about them.
Okay. Randy Orton. I picked Randy Orton to play Randy Orton. Now, all right, this one's a little bit out there. I'm going to say that probably for most of the rest of them. Josh Hartnett. I had playing Randy Orton.
Teen heartthrob.
Yes.
I believe his last movie might have been Pearl Harbor. If that was considered. Oh no, I forgot he did Black Hawk Down. Real fast. And this is just more so just as a comedy thing. I mentioned him like I'm like kind of working while we're recording as well. So I'm remotely logged into work, and all these searches that I'm doing on these actors are on my work computer. So if they decide to go through my like browsing history today, it's just going to be, why was Walton looking up photos of Josh Hartnett?
I should just start throwing random ass names out there just so you can, like, actors that you have no clue who they are.
Or hell, do porn stars. Porn
yeah,
star,
exactly.
Yeah, just to mess with me. So, but please continue your just.
All right, this was solely on the look.
He doesn't have a widow's peak though.
I know. Well, so, they can CGI it.
You can't CGI or his widow's peak.
But like he has that. I want to say this as manly as I possibly can, but it's not going to come out right. So the way that females drool over Randy Orton, I can see them also drooling over Josh Hartnett the same way. And I think he has that little bit of look. I think he looks like him. They don't have the exact look, but I think from anybody I can think of, he kind of resembles them the best.
That's what I don't know. Like, and I can't think of any actors that would really. No, I don't think. What the hell's his name? Let me see. Maybe. I don't know. I was thinking. John. The guy that was playing the Punisher. John. Berthal. You know the new Punisher series on Netflix? Maybe just because he's a little more rugged. I don't know.
Yeah, see, I'm going more with the pretty boy. I'm thinking it's easier to make
a pretty boy rugged than a rugged boy pretty.
Yes. Yeah.
Can we make a T-shirt with that?
But that's basically what I'm thinking is like Hartnett. You can make ways to make him look a little, more sadistic in the Randy Orton way. All he's got to do is start sticking his tongue out like a viper, like Orton does, and he's got it.
You know who would have made
CGI a widow peak.
You know who would have made a good Paige though? As I'm looking this up, Kristen Ritter, Jessica Jones.
Yeah, that's true.
That would have been a really good Paige.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with that.
Yeah, and
I wasn't overly with the one who plays Paige in this movie. I didn't think she resembled her well.
No, I didn't. So I haven't seen the movie yet. I
haven't either.
I'm probably not going to see it in the theaters. I'll probably wait for it to come out.
I don't see anything in theaters, but if I was going to, this would be one of them. It actually looks hilarious, and I was excited for it before I seen trailers for it, and now I'm even more excited, to be honest with you.
I honestly wasn't excited at all for it. Like the first trailer was just like The Rock basically just taking over. Like,
have you seen trailers since then?
I've seen a couple. Yeah, I've seen some of the trailers. Yeah, like I know it's the one scene, but like the first scene that they posted out there of the movie was like I was just like, oh, it's gonna be a movie about Paige's family that somehow The Rock is just involved in every aspect of it. But it just looks like The Rock's part is like a fun cameo part that's a little more extended than probably what it should be.
Yeah. But they had to use him to promote it because it's WWE.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's made by Stephen Merchant too, so like I love Stephen Merchant.
Yeah, and he plays a character in it too.
Yeah, I think like they're neighbors or something like that.
Yeah, somebody who's a family member, neighbor, whatever.
Yeah. So, who else do you have? Because I'm looking up. I'm trying to find.
Do you not have like a list of people, or are you still just trying to think?
I'm still trying to think. I had like the small list that I had was The Rock, Rob Riggle.
Okay.
CM Punk.
All right. Well, then I'll continue on.
But then like I said, a lot of my research I was trying to do was just to make it a little bit different. Actors that were portrayed or wrestlers that were portrayed by actors.
Yeah.
In movies that I just couldn't find.
Yeah. There were certain guys I would love to have tried to pick people, and I just couldn't figure out anybody who could play them. This one, completely not on look. This goes back to my there's no way in hell this person ever does it. But it is Tom Hanks. And I want to see if you can guess who I have Tom Hanks playing.
Vince McMahon.
Yes.
Come on.
Absolutely Vince McMahon. And I can see it. It's the same thing with Leo DiCaprio. Because Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks, I could see the strut. I could see, him telling people they're fired in that Vince voice. I can just it fits so well.
Personally, Tom Hanks is just way too nice to be Vince McMahon, I feel.
But that's what it is. First of all, if they had a Vince McMahon movie, they would show the lighter side of Vince and how he's the caring guy in the backstage area crying and blah 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 blah. Like there was the recent story I seen not that long ago that when Eddie Guerrero beat Brock Lesnar when he finally won the title.
Yeah. That
Vince was in the backstage crying. Like he had tears in his eyes.
I did not.
And it was like one of those things, I think, because they said it like the match was done so perfectly well and everything like that. But that's like I said, you'll get the lighter side of Vince, which Tom Hanks will be able to portray. The problem is Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks can portray that asshole when he needs to.
So I have an idea for Vince, and I think just because he can probably portray anybody, Christian Bale.
I had Christian Bale. Who did I have Christian Bale on?
Because I could just see Christian Bale being the backstage Vince yelling.
Yes,
and just
I can. I could see it.
He could portray. Hell, I'm looking at pictures of him as Al Gore, and I'm sorry, not Al Gore, Dick Cheney. And but his basic body, I think his face could somewhat do
damn, that's bothered me because I had him written down for somebody and then I got rid of him, and I don't remember if it was CM Punk or Orton. I don't remember which one. I had them.
How did you put your list together? Did you pick actors you wanted to portray as wrestlers, or did you pick the wrestlers you wanted to try to find actors for?
I did wrestlers I wanted to try to find actors, and then as I was going through people, some of them reminded me of different wrestlers, so then I started throwing them on there. And like I said, I badly want to find Ric Flair, but I couldn't find anybody that I thought could have done him justice. I had Jay Lethal.
Well, I saw yesterday they posted the whole Jay Lethal impersonation from TNA. Oh my god, it's so good. So good.
But I had Triple H on here. Couldn't figure anybody out for him. So yeah, I went that route where I was like, what wrestlers would I like to see a movie of?
Yeah.
And then I tried to match them up. And the ones I couldn't really figure out actors for, I kind of went away from. And then there was random actors where I was like, ooh, no, he wouldn't be good for him, but he would be good for this guy. Vince McMahon I wanted to find somebody for, and Tom Hanks was my winner. If I could pick anybody in the world to play Vince McMahon, I would love to see Tom Hanks.
He is America's dad.
Yes.
I just don't, if they did 2 Vince McMahon movies, Tom Hanks would be the fun family man Vince McMahon that doesn't exist. And then Christian Bale would be the more accurate portrayal. It's like when they did the 2 Steve Jobs movies. Yeah. There's the Ashton Kutcher one, and then the one with Michael Fassbender.
Yeah. But no, Tom Hanks plays a little bit of a dick in what's it, the the Disney movie. It's supposed to be like behind. He plays Walt Disney.
Oh yeah, I didn't see. I wanted to see that, but I didn't
it's like
see
the
it.
backstory of how they got Mary Poppins or whatever.
Yes,
but if I remember correctly, and I don't remember that movie that well, I watched it one time. I think he plays a little bit of a dick in that.
It's entirely possible. So,
but he plays that. I just realized I pushed the microphone away from me and kept talking. But he plays like that boss where he's like a bit sketchy, you know.
Listen, I think Tom Hanks could do it. Just in my heart of hearts, I do not want to see Tom Hanks portraying that.
It would be perfect.
Do you think
that would win an Academy Award?
Do you think they will make a Vince McMahon like WWE movie, like maybe once he's dead, like a not a WWE Studios one, but a legitimate Vince McMahon? Because listen, his life is fascinating. It's definitely like how he, like I know like WWE gets shit on as like the bastard child of actual sports, but the fact that it's been at this high of a level for all these years because of one man, like I know you and I obviously have a biased opinion, because we love wrestling, but it's a fascinating story.
Yeah, I think it goes two ways. One, his family would gladly benefit off the story of his life.
Yes.
I mean, the McMahons have not shied away from doing anything like that. So it's not like, a movie studio could not get the rights to his story. You know, they will gladly put it out there. But I think it would. I think if there's any movie out there that would be like a feature film about this person's life, it's got to be Vince McMahon.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, even Hogan, it's a Netflix movie. Not to knock Netflix or anything, but at least that's what somebody was telling me. I didn't do that much research into it. I mean, they are having Thor play Hogan, and it's Todd Phillips is the director. So it's not like they have no names doing it or anything like that. But I mean, you talk about a movie that's going to come out in theaters. I think Vince McMahon has got to be it out of anybody that I can think of in wrestling. And Tom Hanks will play him.
Yes.
So Vince better die soon, because I don't want a 75-year-old Tom Hanks playing Vince McMahon.
I agree. That's where Christian Bale might come into play, because I don't think he's that old, and so we might be able to get a Christian Bale Vince McMahon. Did you have any females?
I tried, and then I found way too many males. Like, I didn't expect to find that many, so I thought I was going to go the way of females. And then, again, no offense to the female wrestlers, but I felt like there wasn't many of them that would be an interesting movie. That's why I tried to base this around a little bit, too.
Charlotte would be interesting, I would think, just because of how she got into it.
Yeah, but I think she's still too. Again,
it's still too young, definitely.
Yeah, but I went with Reigns is the only guy that was relatively young in the business that I went with, and that's purely because of the cancer thing that I was thinking the story would. What was I going
to say? The Charlotte story would be more of a Flair story, like the Flair family story, just because like she only got into wrestling because David died, right? David. Was that
David or Reed?
Reed, I'm sorry, Reed Flair. He passed away, so that's the only reason she got in, because he couldn't do that goal, and now she's she's probably the best women's wrestler in the world. Yeah, arguably. Like, it's a very biased opinion because I don't watch a whole lot of other like women's wrestling outside of WWE. Like, I know Tessa Blanchard's up there. Was it Killer Kelly? I think that's her name. A couple other ones that I just know a little bit about, but Charlotte's, she's money.
Well, I tried to go China. China was the only one that I can think of that I was like might make an interesting movie.
There was I couldn't. I was trying to think of China as well, but I couldn't think of any actresses that could like.
The only one I went with was again, you don't watch Game of Thrones. I don't know her actual name.
Who is it?
It's Brienne of Tarth.
I don't know. I don't even know if I'm up to that part yet.
Actual name is it Gwendoline Christie? Is that the right name?
I have no idea.
Yes, Gwendoline Christie. So if you want to look that up, she's a big lady. She's big. She's not like muscular like China, but she's like a mountain of a female.
Well, that's the thing. Like with a lot of these, like a lot of the wrestlers, like you do need kind of like bigger.
Yeah. And I don't think she looks anything. She's 6'3", it says.
Yeah.
So I don't even know. She might be bigger than China. But she has that imposing look to her because of her height,
Yeah.
So that's. But I didn't think it was good enough to really put on here, so I kind of just went away from it. No. Except for I talked about it anyway. So
I'm glad you did, because you covered up for me not having. For the research I did and not having as much data, like it's more than fine.
All right, well then I will move on because I have 4 more, and this one I was dead set.
Let's only do 2 of them, just because I looked at the time.
I'll jump. There's 2 of them I want to talk about. The other 2 I'll just run past at the end. I have Zac Efron.
Hold on.
Who do I have him playing?
Let me look.
I'm not going completely off looks. I just feel like if there was anybody to play this person in a movie...
The Miz?
No.
Although
Again, I'm not going off looks. I'm not saying this person looks like that person. I'm going purely on a young version of this wrestler. I think Zac Efron would play them perfectly.
Can you give me a clue? Give me a clue. Michaels?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm talking about, young DX, cocky asshole.
When
everybody
Michaels
loves me.
When Michaels lost his smile.
Yes. I'm talking about that Shawn Michaels. I think Zac Efron fits that perfectly. I think he could play that cocky asshole.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm prettier than you type character.
Yeah.
But yeah, right away I was like, I tried to make him look like him in my head. I tried to look at pictures and I see, you know what, fuck it, I don't care. I think he would fit the character well of what you would want Michaels to be. I think Efron fits it. So.
I had one that popped in my head and I don't think it would work out too well. I had Channing Tatum playing The Miz.
I had Channing Tatum and I was trying to find somebody for him to fit, and The Miz is probably better than anybody else I was going to have.
My biggest issue is if the actor isn't in a starring role in a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, I probably don't know actors. So, all right, who else? Who else did you have?
And I got Stone Cold. I'm going off the beaten path here with this one too.
Hold on, let me give me a clue of who you were thinking.
He actually starred in a show with a guy that you referenced on your side.
He starred in a show with a guy that I referenced on my side.
He still stars in that show to this day.
Is it Game of Thrones or
no?
Okay, good. Because I was like, I have no idea. What show?
You didn't mention anybody from Game of Thrones, did you? I guess technically Jason Momoa, but I mentioned him.
What show did I mention?
You mentioned this guy for Randy Orton. You didn't mention the show. You mentioned a guy that was on this show.
Who's the guy that I mentioned for Randy Orton?
Punisher was on what show?
And he's on a show with the Punisher.
Do you not even know what show that Punisher guy came from?
Didn't he come from Walking Dead, right?
Yes.
Okay, I've never seen Walking Dead.
Oh my god! I don't think I ever knew that.
Yeah, I've never seen. I had the compendiums for I think volumes 1 and 2.
We're sitting here. I'm sitting here. You know, it's funny. You won't find this guy in the compendiums.
All right, so it's not Negan. Who is it?
Norman Reedus. Now you had to shave his head. But again, you haven't seen Game of Thrones. You haven't seen Walking Dead.
Yeah,
he has that little bit of hillbilly-ish tough guy. I've been beat as a child, and I'm going to beat you down, kind of.
His IMDb has a picture of him with short hair, and I could easily see, and like the beard that he has set up, I could easily see them shaving that off. And
and that's I seen it, and I was like, it kind of fell in that Zac Efron thing to me. Although I think Norman Reedus looks a little bit more like Stone Cold. But like you said, you give him that little goatee and you shave his hair.
Yeah.
And he has that, like I said, he kind of has that that I'm a badass gonna kill everybody kind of feel.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And then
see that one.
Stone Cold, everybody loves, and everybody loves Norman Reedus. So I mean, it fits.
He was also in Boondock Saints, which I knew that.
Yeah, well, there you go.
He was Murphy.
He was supposed to be the character in that game that never got made too.
That game that never got made.
The
Kojima one.
Yeah.
I think it was made. What was it?
The PT game. No, remember PT? It was supposed to be like the next. It wasn't Resident. The new Silent Hill. It was supposed to be Silent Hills. Remember?
Oh yeah.
They had that trailer. It was called PT. He was supposed to be a main character in that, and then that got shut down, and then he became the main character in a different game.
The Kojima one, right?
Yeah. Kojima was the one making the Silent
Hills games, was it? Okay.
Yeah. That playable trailer thing was awesome. The PT.
Okay, I didn't play it.
Yeah, it was creepy as shit. I know you're running low on time, so I will go with my next two real quick. The Undertaker, Kelsey Grammer.
The fuck?
Yeah, look at him first before you knock it, all right?
I'm looking.
There, you have to, he's got to put the tattoos on, the long hair, and the hat and everything.
Again, I'm still Google searching all these actors on my work computer, so I'm just excited for...
So, Kelsey Grammer is who I have for The Undertaker. I couldn't think of anybody. Kelsey Grammer always came off as a little bit taller.
I like how our qualification is. Okay, this guy's tall.
I feel like if you put long hair on him and tattoos and stuff, he might not be that far off.
He did play Beast, so.
And then Mick Foley, purely because
Jack Black.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, purely because I think he embodies everything Mick Foley is to us.
Yes.
Jack Black was right away.
I'm glad.
That you guessed the last one.
Yeah, I'm glad I guessed that one. And
I kept thinking, what was the better way to go about it? What do I say, Jack Black, and then you guess, or I say Mick Foley?
I'm happy. I'm happy that happened. Oh man! So since it's on Netflix, I'm assuming you'll watch the Hogan movie.
I'd watch it anyway. Just I wouldn't see it in theaters probably.
I'll probably end up watching it too. I am disappointed that they're not going to cover that stuff in it.
But have they even? I'm not surprised they're not going to. But have they even kind of went into what they're going to go into?
No, I could be wrong. I just thought I read something very briefly that
I don't know if this is his wrestling history or if it's his personal life.
If anything. Honestly, it will probably go up to WrestleMania 30. That I think seems like, because I think after that is when it was kind of all downhill. Like I think the I forget when the Gawker stuff happened, but I think it happened before WrestleMania. Yeah. I forget.
You know what? That would almost be, and depending on how they do it, and I'm picturing it more like a Rocky style movie, where you have him at WrestleMania 30. Is that him? That's not him in The Rock, is it?
Him, Rock, and Austin in the ring. It was that opening segment.
No, I'll go with him in The Rock. What was that? 20?
No, that was 17. Or no?
Damn, that was.
Yeah, I think.
I would even end it there, with him losing, putting over The Rock, and kind of walking out.
WrestleMania 18.
Kind of
I
thing.
Apologize.
I would end it there. I would end it with him kind of walking to the back. He put over The Rock. Kind of thing, you know what I mean, and like make it act like he's done with wrestling at that point. But I want to see the NWO shit. I want to see that on at the very least him coming into the back like, oh my god, that worked. You know what I mean? Like they don't need to actually show what happened.
You know what we should have did was for this episode. Who are the actors that are going to play the rest of the wrestlers associated with Hogan? Like, so we should have picked the Hall and Nash.
It's funny.
Savage.
I tried to purposely. I had all three of them on here, and I
didn't even think of.
Some of these other guys were more fun for me to find out, and I couldn't. Those guys, I would just pick tall guys.
Exactly.
And I tried Savage, and I couldn't think anybody that I thought could play him the way I want him played. So,
yeah, I hope I would like to go it up to WrestleMania 30. I think because I think it was him because he left WWE, he came back.
But that's like him. Like, do you just jump parts of his career then? Right?
Yeah, you're going to jump TNA. Or
yeah, I know, but
TNA might actually be in there as like a downfall type thing.
But that's my thought. If you're doing his wrestling career, you can go to the WWE days, and you go to WCW, and it's getting stale, and then he does the NWO, and then that goes downhill, and then he goes back to WWE, and then like his biggest moment there was putting over The Rock at WrestleMania.
Does The Rock play The Rock in this movie?
Jason Momoa plays The Rock. It's all come full circle.
See, they're too big. Because remember, that was a more slimmer Rock, so you need someone smaller.
John Cena plays The Rock in this.
That would be perfect. Oh man. Alrighty, so anything else? I apologize for. Well, I will apologize because one, I think my audio levels have been terrible this entire episode.
Yeah, people don't listen to you when you talk anyway. Well,
tell me about it. I'm gonna go into work where people aren't going to listen to me either, and then that's beside the point. And then my list, I tried to do kind of like what Peachy did for the Royal Rumble episode.
Right.
I tried to maybe switch it a little bit around to make it a little bit more interesting, but I couldn't find anything. Really couldn't find much on.
This is why you wanted more people in this episode.
Exactly. To cover for my
don't worry, I had plenty enough. I had others that I took off of here because I knew I wasn't going to be able to talk about so many, and they didn't fit as well as I thought. So. Yeah. Now, trust me, I did my homework. And plus, I was just very proud of my Rob Riggle for John Cena. Just because, it was off drop the mic. I'm done.
Yep. No, I don't want to drop this. It's a new mic. It was like $100. Oh. So
we dropped the mic.
So
Peachy.
Oh, my God. I'm done. All right. All right. Anything else you want to add? Next week's episode 50?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, next episode will be episode 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we get it recorded next week. We got to figure out everything. We got we kind of have some big plans in motion for that one.
Sunday, I mean, as long as you're okay with it, Sunday seems like it's the day. But as we've seen before, we don't necessarily always record on Sunday like we want to.
Yes.
But yeah, we have a big show. Hopefully,
a lot
of people are interested.
Yep, we are going to discuss. We'll make it our next episode. We won't say next week. We'll say next episode just in case it gets bumped or anything.
Episode 50.
Episode 50 is
sometime in 2019.
Yes, is going to be a review of Wrestling Society X, like almost episode by episode kind of roundtable discussion with many past guests as well as future guests who we haven't had on the show yet.
Yeah, so it's going to be hectic.
It's going to be a shit show. If you like car accidents, tune in.
It's already been enough when it's four of us. Well, Peachy don't talk, so it really is only three at most here. But yeah, I mean it's possibly 8 to 9 of us on it. It's going to be fun in theory until we start.
Yes,
and then you get a 4.5 hour episode.
Yes. We'll figure out how we're going to break it up and all that stuff. But Wrestling Society X, for those that don't know, was an old MTV wrestling show that was I remember when it came out, it was the buzz of wrestling. Like MTV tried to get on the wrestling buzz, and I was like, this is dumb. And I was excited because X-Pac was one of the top stars in it, just to show you how it was. But then a 2019 review of it, you see the wrestlers that were in there. Tyler Black was there. Matt Sydal was there. I forget who else. But it was
Vampiro was there, but he was a bigger name at that time.
Who?
Vampiro.
Well, it was Vampiro versus 6-Pac was like the main event on like the first episode of it. But it's gonna be interesting to look at it with 2019 eyes instead of 2007 eyes, which is when it came out. So, so we're gonna go over that. It's an interesting concept. I think it should be fun.
Yeah. I mean, special episode number 50.
Yeah,
we're almost a year into this. Can you believe that, Walt?
I know.
The other day, I know you don't check your Facebook very often, but I'm going to say about a day or two ago, I posted, me, Walt, and Peachy just made magic. And that was all my status was on Facebook. It was the very first episode. I think it was our test episode. I don't think it was the actual recorded episode.
Well, no, you and I did a test episode.
Oh, yeah. Peachy, so it must have been our first recorded episode.
Yeah.
Was a couple days ago to the year. Because we released a bunch of episodes, so we didn't really start.
Yeah. Jesus Christ! Like I'm looking through the roster for Society X: Jimmy Jacobs, Matt Cross, Joey Ryan. Who else? Like there's some like big names now.
So if you want to see AEW's
Teddy Hart,
roster,
Scorpio Sky was in there too. Damn.
If you want to see AEW's roster before they were famous,
check
out Wrestling Society X.
Yeah, your main event. But we'll discuss it all next week. Yeah.
In one big jumble.
Yes. So get ready for that.
Apologize in advance.
Yep. So thank you everybody for listening. I have to get to work, and RestPass has to get to sleep.
Yes.
So with that, we'll catch you guys next week. Hope you have a good week. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you guys later.